Did that look scary? Don't worry, I wasn't doing anything nefarious like hacking the federal government or anything like that. Just simply setting up a lightweight virtual Linux OS on my Windows machine, and you'll be doing just that by the end of this video. You'll be able to install a virtual machine, run an Ubuntu server, and perform crucial updates on that operating system, all before you can finish saying the word Ubuntu. Ubuntu? Ubuntu? So let's get straight to it. Open up your favorite browser. In this case, we'll use Google Chrome, and type in the address bar www.virtualbox.org. The link will also be in the description. Move over to the left-hand side of the page and click Downloads. Click Windows Hosts, and that download should start in the top right-hand side of your browser. Let that download, and we'll start installing. Once that's downloaded, we're going to open the installer by double-clicking. Click Yes to the UAC prompt, and we're going to click Next, Next, Yes, and Yes. And we'll click Next, so all the defaults, and finally click Install. Press Finish, which will start VirtualBox, and you're done. I mean, how easy was that? You can now create one or more virtual machines inside your physical machine with just a click of a button. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're just going to install a quick Ubuntu desktop virtual machine into VirtualBox. Let's do it. Okay, let's go back to our browser and let's type in ubuntu.com. We're going to download our Ubuntu image so that we can load it into VirtualBox. Up the top, click Get Ubuntu, and then click Download Ubuntu Desktop. You'll see the download 24.04 LTS, or whichever the latest version is, a green button, just click that. Your download should then start in the top right hand corner of your browser. Once that download's complete, open up VirtualBox and we'll click New. Give your virtual machine a name, we'll call it Learn_Linux. Choose the folder where you want your virtual machine to reside, and in the ISO image section, click the down arrow, click Other, and select the Ubuntu image that you downloaded earlier. The type and version should default to Linux Ubuntu, and click Next. So the next section is hardware. This is where we're going to allocate resources from our host PC to the virtual machine. So it's good to know what the requirements are for the Ubuntu operating system. As Linux in general is a very lightweight operating system, we should have more than enough resources to allocate to it. So let's take a look what's required. It requires a minimum of 1024 meg, and we can allocate 2048 megabytes of RAM, which should be more than enough. It requires 5 gig of storage for ISO install, so that's us, but the suggested minimum storage is 25 gig or more. So make sure you've got at least 25 gig available on your host computer in order to run this virtual machine efficiently. As a general rule for Linux installations, you should just allocate 2 CPU cores. That should be more than enough, but if you don't have that option available, you can try it out with 1. When ready, click Next, and you should see a summary of all of the options we have here. Once you've clicked Finish, you should see your new virtual machine ready to turn on. So let's go ahead, turn it on, and complete the installation of Ubuntu. Just make sure you've got highlighted the Learn Linux, or whatever you called your virtual machine, and click the Start button. Your virtual machine will launch in a new window, and you should see a little label here that says Install Linux. So click that. Now we're going to accept a lot of the defaults here, so we'll start with the language. Choose the language of your choice. We'll click Next. We'll click Next again. We'll choose English US for us. We'll choose to use a wired connection, and it will tell you that there is an update available for the installer. We're going to go ahead and click Update Now. We're going to then click Close the installer, and on the desktop we should see Install Ubuntu. We're going to double click that, and we'll run through some of these prompts again. As this is the new version of the installer, we'll click Next, Next, Next. Our 2 options, interactive installation or automated. We're going to use interactive. Click Next. We'll use the default selection. We'll click Next. And we're not going to install any third-party software at the moment. We'll just click Next through there. Then asks us to create our account, our main account. So I'm going to call it Alan. And your computer's name should default, but you can change that to whatever you wish. And there's also the option to enter a password. So I'll enter a password. We'll confirm that password, and here you can choose to require your password to log on or not. Click next. It should automatically find your time zone based on your internet connection of your host computer, but you can edit that here. Click next, and finally click the install button.